guys, what's up? It's your girl Crystal, owner at Big Energy Candle Co. Before we get started, please make sure to click that bell wherever it is so you get notified whenever I post new content. And please make sure to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Also, if you could do me a little favor and head on over to Facebook and find me at bigenergycandle.co, and then shoot over to Instagram and find me at Big Energy Holistics or Big Energy Candle Co. I'm there. And if you feeling real generous, if you could go ahead and follow me at the Steamy Goddess on Instagram, your girl would greatly appreciate it. I'm definitely trying to grow my community. So many of you know when I started these videos, I wanted to take the guesswork out of candle making. And it took me a really long time to get comfortable with candle making because it took me a very long time to find real information. So I wanted to be a place where you guys could come and get the deets and learn exactly what it is and how to make candles. And when I'm done, I will post everywhere everything came from in the description below. All right, so let's get into it. We are making candles today, guys, and I don't think I've done that with you guys yet, but I decided why not go ahead and jump both feet in. So I always do my candles in sets of 4s or 5s. I don't know why, but I like it. Normally it's in sets of 5, but I decided to do 4 because I try to keep a certain amount of candles and I don't like to go over because I may need that wax or something for something else. So we are replenishing one of my favorite candles, and that is my Beauty and Rebirth. It has a really light, clean scent, but it really gives just new beginning vibes. How about that? Beauty and Rebirth. It's just giving new beginning vibes. So we have our 4 vessels. We're going to use our, I guess this is like a cream colored 12-ounce vessel. And we have all 4. That was 3, 4. All right. And we have our 4 wicks with the wick clips. I use wooden wicks. And I will tell you guys where these come from. So it is not easy to center them. One of the things I always do is make sure there are no particles on the wick because they are cut, and because of the way that they cut them in huge batches, they have a lot of dust in the bottom of the bag, and they can have like little splinters sticking out, and that burns and falls in your candle and makes your candle look crazy. So I always try to get them off. So for these 4 candles, we've already done our measurements, and I'm gonna of course tell you where I get my measurements from. There is an amazing site called Makesy, and that is where I get my measurements from. They have a calculator, and you put in the size of the vessel. No matter where you get your vessels at, you could put in the size of the vessel. You put in your fragrance load. Your fragrance load is the percentage of fragrance you want to use, and normally about a 10 is where I always go. 10 always gives me a great cold throw and a great hot throw. So I just stayed at the number 10. If you want it a little bit stronger, you can do a higher fragrance load. They have a whole chart on their website that tells you about fragrance load. So you can look that up. So I do a 10% fragrance load, and then I already have my wax. So for these 4 vessels, we are going to use 1,225 grams of wax, and we're going to use 113 grams of fragrance oil. We have our picture, we have our stirrer, and of course we have our handy dandy thermometer, which I am going to wipe off because they're making candles, guys. So it's just easy. All right. So I like to get my wax into small little cubes like this. So we're going to go ahead and cut the wax down so it will be able to be in small little pieces. So we have our little, I got this little thing at the dollar store, guys. Literally, it's I don't know what it is, but it cuts wax perfectly. So I like to cut it in tiny pieces like this so it's easy to melt. And you always want to make sure that all of your surfaces are clean. And I wanted to get this out the way because the wax was just kind of sort of just sitting here in my space. So I'm like, let me go ahead and get this wax in the container. candle making really isn't hard, guys. I'm going to tell you what else you're going to need as well. You're going to need a scale. I like a digital scale. You're going to be using the tear feature on your digital scale. Because I don't know why I don't like to put it and tear it first or whatever. Like put the whatever I'm using on there first and then tear it. I like to put it on and tear it because I just know for a fact that I'm not weighing my fragrance or my wax or anything wrong. So I always tear it afterwards. So we got to get all this wax packed down in there. And why did I not take my stirrer out, guys? Y'all let me leave my stirrer in there. Hold on. Y'all let me leave the stirrer in there. Now I gotta try to dig this sucker out. There we go. All right. Y'all, I'm giving y'all the raw and uncut of making candles. It's a messy job, but somebody gotta do it. Ain't it? Somebody gotta do it. So now we got a pitcher full of wax, guys. And I just pack it down in there because guess what? It's gonna melt. You can bet your bottom dollar it's gonna melt. And I always keep a little towel with me so I can wipe my hands because I hate my hands feeling like they are messy. So we also want to use our glue gun. So I just take my glue gun and I always put my containers wherever they're gonna settle at. So I'm not gonna pour it in my I'm not gonna pour it wherever it's gonna sit at. And it's really hard. I'm gonna pour it wherever it's gonna sit at. So I'm not gonna pour it just at my workstation where I put my candles to rest at. That is where I pour it at. And I always do a thing. I keep a heat gun. So I'm gonna tell y'all all the tools that you're gonna need. And see that thing will shed right in there. So let's get all this done, guys. So let me tell you exactly what you're gonna need to make your candles. I feel like I kind of like skipped over a little bit of that. So here we go. So I always like to start with a roll of craft paper. I lay that down because it makes my cleanup so much easier. And I'm all about making easy choices when it comes to cleaning up. So you can get this from Staples for like $6, if that. No more than 7. You're gonna need a stirrer. I always just put that in after the wax has started to melt. I started out with a very small pitcher, but go on Amazon or Hearts and Crafts is where I actually got this one from. And these pitchers are not even $10. So I always use these. I have quite a few. As you get deeper into your candle making, you're gonna have to have more pitchers. I always like to have these. I bought like 6 of these for maybe $10 on Amazon. And I use these to help concentrate my pour. Y'all, I am frugal as they come. This is what I use to pour my wax in. Because if you use the wrong type of plastic, it will disintegrate from the oil. And I use clean scents and it still will do the same thing. So I use these or I'll use these. But I prefer this because it's super thick and it does the job and it has a little spout. So if I pour too much, I can pour it back. But this is literally from my laundry detergent. So I turn my heat up to get my water to go ahead and boil. But I actually like to make my candles with my water being on a lower setting, like medium to on the lower side. That's how I make my candles. You're gonna need a nice thermometer. This came from Hobby Lobby, literally $6. And I get more than one because I have these. I've went through a couple of these for whatever reason, I don't know, but get you more than one. And this isn't my favorite because the other one I had, the numbers look different. but it works. All right, you're gonna need a hot glue gun. That is for if you decide that you want to do your, if you decide that you want to do hot glue gun to stick your wicks in your container, then a hot glue gun is perfect. You can also buy the little wicks stickers. I don't like those because I reuse my vessels sometimes to make candles for family and friends. And when I do that, it leaves a residue in there. It's easier to get the hot wax out. Also, you're going to need a hot glue gun. And I use a hot glue gun to heat up my vessels because I don't like, because they're color, I don't like to put them in the oven to heat them or put them in nothing to heat them. Once I pour my wax, I heat my, once I pour my wax, I heat my vessels up at that time, or I'll heat them up right before while my wax is getting almost ready to be poured. I'll start heating up my vessels. That's what I use this for, and it's really good. I didn't understand why you needed a hot glue gun. I hate the fact this cord is super short. I don't know why they made it this short, but I got this on Amazon too. No more than 10 bucks, guys. But if you're having problems with your tops, it looks funny, the hot glue gun is a lifesaver. It allows you to heat up just the top of it to make it smooth. You don't want to get it too close because then it makes it fly out. So you want to kind of get a little distance. Once your glue has cooled, you will use this hot glue gun. I didn't understand that at first, but I get it now. And it really, really, really is a game changer. So now we're going to go ahead and put our wax in our pot. So this is kind of like the double boiler method because it's in a container. I do have wax pots, but when I'm doing small batches, I really don't feel the need to use it, so I don't. All right, so we're going to put our thermometer in there so we can go ahead and be capturing the temperature of our wax as it starts to melt. And the wax starts to melt fairly quickly, and you want to turn your thermometer where you can see the temperature as it's rising. So the reason I didn't like this thermometer is because you really can't see that the 100 mark is down. So I get my wax to 160 degrees. That is the temperature at which you can add your fragrance. It is important to know the temperature at which you add your fragrance, and my wax requires that I add my fragrance at 160 degrees. So once my wax gets to 160, I pour my fragrance in, and then we'll stir for 2 minutes. And then while we're stirring, it will kind of cool down to like 150 degrees. And that is the pouring temperature that I utilize when making my candles. So while we're waiting on our wax to melt, we'll be back. We're going to take a brief break.
2 hours later.
All right, guys, so here's the end product. And now we just have to wait for our candle to cool. Once it cools, you have to wait. I always do 72 hours, but because if you're not selling immediately, they still get the time to really like bond and do all the things that they have to do. But 72 hours is the time in which you can use to, once it's cooled and it's sat for those 72 hours, you can actually trim your wicks and burn your candles at that point. And this is the point where you get the candle all nice and pretty and do your labels. All right, there you have it. Candle making made easy. Love you. Bye.